The legendary Prince of Darkness and founding father of heavy metal Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76. In the history of rock music, few figures have left a legacy as powerful as Ozzy's. He wasn't just an icon, he was a global phenomenon, admired and loved across generations. Yet, in the final weeks of his life, things looked very different from what one might expect for such a towering star. In those quiet days, the man once known for his dark persona had set aside the spotlight and let go of the need for fame. But in the end, Ozzy's thoughts weren't on the stage or the spotlight. Instead, his heart was set on one deeply personal wish, something only his wife, Sharon, could help make come true. This wasn't just a passing desire, but a meaningful request that shaped his final days and brought him a deep sense of peace. If Ozzy Osbourne's life or music ever made you laugh, think, or feel inspired, show your appreciation by liking this video and subscribing to the channel so you never miss more powerful stories like this. Drop a 1 in the comments if you've ever connected with Ozzy's legacy, or a 0 if your view is different. Now let's get into the heartfelt story behind his final moments and the wish that brought him comfort at the very end. Just weeks later, Ozzy Osbourne passed away, leaving behind not only a groundbreaking musical legacy, but also a life filled with chaos, triumph, and a goodbye that touched hearts around the world. With his passing, the final curtain closed on the story of a true rock legend. In his final months, Ozzy carried a quiet understanding of how precious little time remained. After living for years with Parkinson's disease, his health had begun to fade, and he became increasingly aware that the end was near. Through it all, one person stood by him unwaveringly: his wife, Sharon Osbourne. She wasn't just his partner in life, but his closest friend and most constant source of strength. Sharon, more than anyone, saw the truth of his condition and never turned away. She faced those tough final days right alongside him, doing everything in her power to make sure Ozzy's final moments were filled with peace, love, and dignity. Ozzy Osbourne's final chapter wasn't just a story of loss. It was a reflection of Sharon's unwavering commitment to preserving the beautiful life they had built together. She faced the heartbreak of watching her husband grow weaker each day, yet never wavered in her mission to honor his final wishes. With quiet strength and boundless love, Sharon stood by Ozzy's side, guiding him through the most difficult days and helping prepare for the goodbye they both knew was near. Though Ozzy no longer had the strength to do what once brought him joy, his final moments were lived with purpose, surrounded by those he loved and wrapped in the comfort of Sharon's care. His farewell wasn't just the end of an extraordinary life, it was a powerful tribute to love, loyalty, and the enduring legacy of one of music's greatest icons. Parkinson's is a relentlessly progressive disease, and for Ozzy, it took a heavy toll, especially on his legs, as Sharon revealed in a past interview. While his declining health was no secret, and everyone understood there would be no recovery, it was still heartbreaking to watch someone once so commanding on stage grow so physically fragile. What stood out, though, was Ozzy's unwavering mental strength. Even as his body weakened, his sharp mind and signature sense of humor remained intact. Those closest to him often spoke of his wit and warmth, how he continued cracking jokes and sharing clever remarks, bringing comfort and laughter to those around him. Despite the growing challenges, Ozzy never let go of what made him so beloved: his ability to connect, uplift, and make others feel at home in his presence. Though his body had grown frail, Ozzy's voice, the very essence of his legendary career, remained remarkably untouched by the grip of disease. Longtime fans marveled at how his vocals still carried that same raw power and resilience, echoing the spirit that had defined his music for decades. While his physical presence had changed, his voice continued to captivate. Rich, emotional, and unmistakably Ozzy. It was a powerful reminder that true talent endures, even in the face of time and hardship. In those final moments, that voice became more than just sound. It became a symbol of everything he had given to the world. And with it, Ozzy Osbourne secured his place in history, an immortal icon whose legacy will echo in the hearts of music lovers for generations to come. It was a powerful contrast, Ozzy's body growing weaker, yet his spirit seemed fueled by something deeper, something beyond himself. As Parkinson's slowly took its toll, Ozzy tapped into a quiet inner strength that helped him face life's final chapter with grace. Those closest to him noticed a shift in his perspective during those last weeks. He became more introspective, more at peace, as if each day was a gentle walk through the memories of a life lived on the edge. His talks with Sharon often revolved around the past, the wild days with Black Sabbath, his explosive solo career, and the roller coaster of family life, filled with chaos, yes, but also deep love. If anyone had a life worth remembering, it was Ozzy Osbourne. As the clock ticked down, he spent much of that time in reflection, not just on what had been, but on what little remained, speaking candidly about the months he had left. Sharon spoke gently of those final conversations, revealing that Ozzy had shared some deeply personal wishes, things he felt he had to complete before he could truly let go. These weren't just casual reflections, they were the heartfelt goals of a man seeking closure, wanting to leave this world with a sense of peace and fulfillment. Whatever it was, Sharon said, she had made it her mission to make sure it happened. For her, this wasn't just about caring for her husband. It was a sacred promise, a spiritual vow to honor his final wishes and help him find peace in his last days. In those closing weeks, Sharon became more than a devoted wife. She was his constant, his strength, and the guardian of the legacy Ozzy had spent a lifetime building. It wasn't just a simple request, but a deeply personal final wish. A heavy responsibility that Sharon, as his wife, partner, and manager, would carry with grace. This wasn't something trivial. It was a heartfelt plea that she would honor with all her love and devotion. For the fans, Ozzy's passing on July 22nd was an earth-shattering shock, signaling the end of a legendary era in music. But for those who truly knew him, the loss wasn't just sorrow. It was mixed with a bittersweet sense of peace. Ozzy didn't quietly slip away. He left on his own terms, not fading into the background, but exiting with purpose, having lived a full life and accomplished everything he set out to do. In his final moments, Sharon was there, unwavering by his side, ensuring that Ozzy's last days unfolded just as he had hoped. With unwavering strength and endless love, she wasn't just a wife, she was his rock, the one person who stood with him to see his final wish through. Ozzy's last days were a blend of deep affection and care, a time where his wishes were honored, and he was gently prepared for his departure. When the moment came, Ozzy's passing wasn't just an end. It was a meaningful, full, and purposeful farewell, just as he had envisioned it. Ozzy Osbourne's final wish was undoubtedly heart-wrenching, but it was carried out in true Ozzy fashion, with unwavering resolve and a deep respect for the legacy he'd built over a lifetime. And standing right beside him, as she always had for over 40 years, was Sharon Osbourne, the one who made his last wish come to life. Their relationship was far more than just a marriage. It was a steadfast partnership that had endured countless public scandals, personal struggles, and the unrelenting pressure that came with global fame. Sharon wasn't only his wife. She was his confidant, his manager, and the one person who had been with him through every major moment, especially during the most difficult times in his final years. Through the highs and lows of their careers and personal lives, Sharon has consistently shown unwavering love and loyalty. Together, they've weathered countless storms, from battles with addiction to the chaotic ups and downs of Ozzy's career. Yet it was in these very moments of struggle that their love only grew stronger, becoming a true testament to a partnership built on resilience, compassion, and mutual respect. The bond of the Osbourne family exemplifies how to navigate life's toughest challenges, with each trial only deepening the love and understanding they share. Astic Sharon is not just Ozzy's wife, she is his manager, his soulmate, and in so many ways, the steady force that has kept him grounded through life's toughest moments. Their bond goes beyond love. It's rooted in unwavering support, loyalty, and mutual respect. Their story began in the late 1970s, when Sharon's father, Don Ardon, was managing Black Sabbath. Sharon, a strong, sharp, and charismatic woman, instantly formed a unique connection with Ozzy. What started as romance quickly blossomed into something deeper, built on understanding, empathy, and a shared commitment. Sharon wasn't only a devoted wife, she was the one who helped Ozzy face the challenges of his career, especially during the turbulent years of addiction and personal struggles. In 1982, Sharon and Ozzy tied the knot, marking a pivotal moment in their journey together. Through all the trials and tribulations they've faced, their relationship has not only endured but has grown even stronger over time. Their bond has become one of the most iconic symbols of love within the rock world, defined by unshakable commitment and countless sacrifices. Together, they've triumphed over everything, from Ozzy's career crises to personal struggles. This connection has served as their foundation, allowing them to withstand the pressures of global fame and the unpredictable chaos of rock star life. Sharon and Ozzy's relationship is more than just a well-known marriage. It stands as a powerful testament to enduring love and unwavering dedication, no matter the challenges they've faced. Through Ozzy's struggles with addiction, well documented throughout his career, Sharon was a constant, unwavering presence by his side. She wasn't just his wife, she was his rock, a steady source of support that helped keep his life and career from completely unraveling. During the toughest years when Ozzy faced his deepest personal battles, Sharon stood firm, never faltering in her dedication. Even in the darkest moments, she remained patient, always encouraging him to push through the pain. Sharon was more than a spouse. She was the one who helped Ozzy stay grounded, protect his career, and avoid the fate that claimed so many others in the rock world. Her strength and loyalty were key to his survival, both personally and professionally. In the years that followed, Sharon evolved into not just a devoted wife, but a public figure in her own right. From managing Ozzy's solo career to co-starring in the hit MTV reality show The Osbournes, she became deeply involved in both his professional and personal life. The show offered fans a raw, honest glimpse into the Osbourne family dynamic, and Sharon's resilience shone through as she crafted an image of a family that was not only full of humor, but also rich in warmth and love. She wasn't just managing a career, she was fiercely protective of their private moments, ensuring that despite the constant scrutiny of the outside world, the family's bond remained intact. Sharon balanced it all, public life and private love, with grace and strength. The Osbournes introduced Ozzy and his family to a whole new wave of fans, people who may not have been familiar with his music, but were drawn in by his relatable humor and the delightful chaos that unfolded in each episode. The show offered far more than just funny moments. It revealed a side of Ozzy that many had never seen before. A man who was approachable, vulnerable, and full of thoughts just like anyone else. The dynamic between Ozzy, Sharon, and their kids became the heart of the show, showcasing how they tackled life's challenges with a perfect mix of empathy, love, and humor. While Ozzy's music might not have been for everyone, the Osbournes allowed him to connect with a much wider audience, one that saw themselves in the messy yet heartwarming moments of this uniquely close-knit family. As Ozzy's health began to decline, the bond between him and Sharon deepened even further. In 2003, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a battle he kept private for many years until revealing it publicly in 2020. This diagnosis presented a huge challenge, not only for Ozzy but for his entire family. Over the years, Ozzy faced immense difficulties, from the physical toll of the disease to the emotional strain of coming to terms with a reality that couldn't be changed. Despite being an indomitable force and an icon of strength on stage, Ozzy had to confront the painful changes in both his body and mind. Through it all, Sharon and his family remained his unwavering support system, providing the strength and encouragement he needed to keep fighting. Sharon, who courageously opened up about the emotional toll of watching the disease take its toll on Ozzy, took on much of the emotional and logistical weight during those tough years. She wasn't just a wife, she became Ozzy's rock, a constant presence of strength and love, always there when he needed her most. Sharon was the first to acknowledge that their life on the road, the vibrant tours and those unforgettable moments on stage, had come to an end. After a long journey of facing every obstacle together, Sharon realized that their lives had to shift. "I've been doing this since I was 15 and now I'm done. We just want to live our lives, do what we want to do, and not be on a schedule anymore," she said in an interview with Billboard before Ozzy's passing. It was a powerful moment of acceptance, a recognition that their future was about finding peace in a new, more personal chapter of life. Sharon had subtly alluded in interviews that Ozzy had shared something deeply important with her, his final wish before he passed. While she kept the details private, it was clear that she was fully committed to honoring his desires, making sure they were fulfilled, even in his final days. Ozzy's last weeks were about more than just preparing for a goodbye. They were a time of cherishing precious moments with his family and safeguarding the legacy he had worked so hard to build. Sharon did everything in her power to keep the family close, ensuring that Ozzy could pass in peace, secure in the knowledge that his memories, his family, and his enduring legacy would live on. The legacy of the Prince of Darkness. Born John Michael Osbourne on December 3, 1948, in Aston, Birmingham, is a remarkable tale of rise and transformation in the world of music. Growing up in a poor, working-class family, Ozzy Osbourne faced immense challenges but rose above them to become a global icon, forever altering the landscape of rock music. His journey is more than just one of personal achievement. It's a testament to resilience and the power of the arts. In 1968, alongside the members of Black Sabbath, Ozzy helped create a revolutionary new genre, heavy metal, defined by its heavy, dark riffs and haunting lyrics. This marked the beginning of a musical revolution, with Black Sabbath at the forefront, laying the groundwork for a genre that would go on to thrive and influence countless generations of musicians. Black Sabbath's self-titled debut album, released in 1970, introduced iconic tracks like Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs. These songs didn't just reshape the landscape of rock music, they cemented Black Sabbath's place at the pinnacle of the music industry. With their powerful riffs and thought-provoking lyrics, their music resonated deeply with the conflicts, anxieties, and social unrest of the time, making them essential figures in rock history. Tracks like Paranoid became timeless anthems, not only in the heavy metal world but across generations. Ozzy Osbourne, with his captivating voice and unforgettable stage presence, became the face of a new musical genre, solidifying his status as a legend and a beloved figure in the hearts of fans all over the world. With an illustrious solo career and iconic hits like Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne solidified his place as one of the greatest rock vocalists in music history. Crazy Train, with its unforgettable guitar riffs and Ozzy's commanding vocals, became a timeless anthem not only in rock, but in popular music at large, symbolizing his resilience and extraordinary talent. But Ozzy's influence didn't end with his music. With the Osbournes on MTV, he introduced himself to a whole new audience, broadening his impact and turning his family into pop culture icons. The show gave fans a fresh perspective on Ozzy, down-to-earth, funny, and relatable, while also showcasing the strong bond he shared with Sharon and their children. In doing so, the Osbourne family became a beloved fixture in global pop culture. Despite receiving numerous accolades throughout his career, including induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Ozzy Osbourne will always be remembered as one of the most legendary figures in music history. His legacy isn't just in his songs and albums, it's in the indelible mark he's left on future generations of musicians. Every time Ozzy steps on stage, every time his voice echoes through the speakers, he reaffirms his place as an immortal icon, an irreplaceable rock legend whose influence continues to resonate across time and generations. For this, Ozzy needed Sharon's unwavering support. There was only one city that could give him the farewell he truly deserved: Birmingham, the place where his journey began and where his life took a pivotal turn. Birmingham wasn't just Ozzy's birthplace, it was an inseparable part of his identity. This industrial city, the birthplace of Black Sabbath, had long been celebrated as the heart of metal music, and no one embodied that legacy more than Ozzy, its most famous son. For him, Birmingham wasn't just the starting point, it was the foundation of his life story, where his music and the legend of his transformation first began to spread across the globe. In the months leading up to July 2025, Birmingham underwent a remarkable transformation to honor Black Sabbath and their legendary frontman, Ozzy Osbourne. The local government announced the Summer of Sabbath, a citywide celebration designed to recognize the monumental impact Black Sabbath had on music and global culture. This event became a heartfelt tribute from the city to one of the greatest bands of all time. Art installations, concerts, and special inaugurations were organized, all focused on celebrating the contributions of Black Sabbath and, particularly, Ozzy Osbourne. The city bestowed its highest honors to acknowledge the band's profound influence on Birmingham, while solidifying their place in the annals of world music history. Among the many honors, the four original members of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, were granted the freedom of the city of Birmingham, a fitting tribute from the city that had become such an integral part of their musical journey. To celebrate their extraordinary careers, the city renamed a bridge in their honor, creating a permanent symbol of the indelible impact they had left behind. Additionally, a commemorative bench was unveiled, and, most notably, A colossal mural of Ozzy Osbourne was painted on the end of Villa Park Stadium. This stadium, where both football fans and heavy metal lovers had gathered for unforgettable nights, became a landmark of the city's connection to the band. That night was more than just a tribute to Ozzy and Black Sabbath. It was an opportunity for Birmingham to celebrate the global legacy the band had forged, a legacy that would forever be etched in the fabric of both the city's history and the world of music. This return was far more than just a musical event. It was an emotional homecoming. The celebration became a once-in-a-lifetime experience for fans from around the globe. One fan from the US couldn't contain their excitement, saying, "Meeting Ozzy in his hometown was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience." Such sentiments capture the magic of the night, showing that this event wasn't solely about the music. It was about the profound connection between Ozzy and his fans, a bond that had been built over decades. It was a moment where the past, present, and future of Black Sabbath came together, creating a shared experience that would forever be etched in the hearts of those lucky enough to be there at it. You can feel the history in the air. These weren't just the words of one fan, but a sentiment shared by everyone in attendance at this historic event. Even those who had followed Ozzy's career from a distance could sense the weight of the moment, an occasion where the past and future intertwined in a powerful celebration. The international media quickly recognized the significance of this moment. With a star-studded lineup that included some of the biggest names in rock and metal, a stadium packed with 40,000 fervent fans, and an estimated live audience pushing the total viewership into the millions, this concert was more than just a musical event. It was a global phenomenon. It stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, and the impact they had on generations of fans and musicians alike. Even before Ozzy's passing, tributes had already begun pouring in, a reflection of both his extraordinary achievements and his pivotal role in shaping the rock and metal scenes. Ozzy's image, transcending that of just an artist, had evolved into a symbol, a guiding torch for future generations of musicians and fans alike. His peers, who had stood by him through the highs and lows, were unable to mask their sorrow when the inevitable moment came. Tributes came not only from his closest friends but from major figures in the industry, those who had drawn inspiration from Ozzy's music, persona, and lifestyle. It was clear that Ozzy's impact was immeasurable, and without a doubt, the legend of Ozzy Osbourne will endure forever in the hearts and minds of those who have been touched by his music and spirit. Musicians, collaborators, and figures throughout the music industry knew all too well the immense influence Ozzy Osbourne had cultivated over his illustrious career. His legacy spanned decades of groundbreaking music, and now, with his time on stage and on Earth drawing to a close, a deep sense of loss reverberated through the entire music community. The realization that a true legend was nearing his final curtain call struck a chord with all who had been touched by his music. Ozzy wasn't just a remarkable artist. He was an icon who had forever transformed the rock and metal landscapes. His impact was immeasurable, and his departure left a void that no one could fill. Ozzy Osbourne's legacy is nothing short of legendary. From his transformative role as the frontman of Black Sabbath to his iconic solo career, Ozzy has left an indelible mark on rock and metal music. His influence extends far beyond his music, shaping the very culture of rock, from his rebellious spirit to his unforgettable stage presence. Ozzy's pioneering sound, raw authenticity, and willingness to push boundaries not only defined the heavy metal genre, but also inspired generations of musicians to find their voice and their place in the music world. As Elton John beautifully said, Ozzy was a great pioneer who cemented his place in the pantheon of rock gods. a true legend whose impact will live on forever. His ability to connect with fans, his resilience through personal challenges, and his immense contributions to music make him one of the most important figures in the history of rock. What do you think about Ozzy's legacy? How has his music or influence shaped the way you see rock and metal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about the artists who shaped the world of music. He was also one of the funniest people I have ever met. I will miss him dearly. Sir Rod Stewart's words captured the essence of Ozzy Osbourne beyond his legendary music career. To those who had the privilege of working with Ozzy, he was not only a titan of rock, but also a genuinely warm and approachable person, filled with humor and lightheartedness. Rod, who had shared many years of friendship and camaraderie with Ozzy, expressed his sorrow with a heartfelt farewell. "Farewell, Ozzy. Sleep well, my friend. See you on the other side." These words went beyond a tribute. They were a testament to the deep bond and the shared memories between two iconic figures in the music industry. It was a farewell filled with both sorrow and love, as Rod bid goodbye to a companion who had been not only a musical collaborator, but also a true friend. The sense of loss following Ozzy Osbourne's passing extended far beyond his immediate circle. Artists from every corner of the music world, across various genres, recognized the monumental impact Ozzy had not just on rock, but on music as a whole. Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones was one of those who paid tribute, calling Ozzy a true legend of Birmingham, not just in terms of music, but in shaping and defining the city's rich musical culture. Wood acknowledged Ozzy's ability to craft a sound that influenced generations, highlighting that his legacy extended far beyond the stage. This praise wasn't simply a nod to Ozzy's remarkable musical talent, but also a recognition of his immense role in building the cultural and musical foundation that future generations of artists would stand on. Ozzy's legacy isn't just written in his songs, but in the lasting impact he had on his peers, his fans, and the music world at large. He left an indelible mark, not only in the hearts of music lovers, but also in the memories and respect of his colleagues and lifelong friends. Metallica, one of the bands that performed at the Villa Park concert, honored Ozzy Osbourne with a tribute that was simple, yet deeply poignant. A photo of the band with Ozzy, accompanied by a broken heart emoji, conveyed their sorrow and profound respect for a true legend. While it may have been a brief and straightforward post, it resonated with millions of fans, capturing the depth of their admiration. This tribute wasn't just about paying respects to a friend, it symbolized the shared understanding of Ozzy's monumental influence on rock and metal music. As titans of the genre themselves, Metallica used that image and symbol to recognize a pioneer who helped shape the very landscape of heavy music. Ozzy had not only changed the face of an entire genre, but had left a legacy that would be remembered by generations of musicians and fans alike. Metallica's tribute was a reminder that, in rock and metal, Ozzy's impact would never be forgotten. Ozzy Osbourne, with his monumental contributions, was not just a household name, but a living icon in rock music. Over the course of more than 5 decades, he relentlessly created, innovated, and dedicated himself to shaping a genre that would go on to have a global influence. The tributes from Metallica and countless other artists are a powerful affirmation of Ozzy's pioneering role in the music industry, a recognition of a man whose influence transcended generations, leaving an indelible mark on rock and metal culture. Though Ozzy may no longer be with us, the legacy he built in both music and culture is immortal. His pioneering spirit, unique voice, and untamed energy have shaped the very foundation of heavy metal, and his impact will continue to inspire and resonate in the hearts of fans and artists for years to come. The legend of Ozzy Osbourne is not just one of the past. It is a legacy that will endure forever, influencing and guiding the future of music and culture. Ozzy Osbourne's collaborations spanned generations, bridging the gap between classic rock legends and modern metal icons. His influence reached far beyond just music, weaving its way into broader culture. Ozzy wasn't just a musician, he was a symbol of rebellion, creativity, and raw power that defined rock and metal for decades. Every new generation of artists carries Ozzy's mark, drawing from the legacy of a pioneer who reshaped how we understand these genres and their cultural significance. His final weeks weren't just a time for fans and the music community to mourn, but also a poignant acknowledgement that they were witnessing the end of an era, one that had been defined by his groundbreaking contributions. Though the industry mourned, there was also a deep sense of gratitude and recognition for Ozzy's irreplaceable role in shaping music history. His influence remains undeniable, and the legacy he left behind will continue to inspire future generations of artists and fans alike. In interviews, Sharon hinted that Ozzy had shared something deeply personal with her, a request that only she could fulfill. "He wanted me to do something for him that only I could do," she said, though she chose to keep the details private. These words underscored the profound responsibility that Sharon held during Ozzy's final weeks. She wasn't just his wife or caregiver. She was entrusted with carrying out his final wishes, playing a role that went beyond just supporting him. Sharon, who had stood by Ozzy through every high and low, understood the immense weight of what he had asked her to do. It was a deeply personal promise, and one that highlighted the deep bond and trust between them. An enduring partnership forged not just in love, but in mutual understanding and respect. Sharon Osbourne's actions during the final days of Ozzy's life reflected an extraordinary level of love, dedication, and resilience. Despite the emotional toll, she was unwavering in her commitment to ensuring that Ozzy's final wishes were carried out with the utmost care and respect. Behind the scenes, she quietly and tirelessly mobilized all the necessary resources, making sure Ozzy's last days were filled with the dignity he deserved. Her devotion went beyond fulfilling a request. It was a profound demonstration of the depth of their relationship. It spoke volumes about the years of shared experiences, triumphs, and struggles that had shaped their bond. What they had wasn't just a marriage. It was a partnership that had weathered storms, grown stronger through adversity, and transformed into something even deeper. Sharon's sacrifice, her ability to stay grounded while emotionally supporting Ozzy, was a testament to the strength of their love, not just for each other, but for the family they had built. In those final moments, Sharon was more than a wife. She was the heart and soul of the family, the unwavering presence that held everything together. It was a beautiful, selfless act, one that showed how love, loyalty, and sacrifice can transcend all challenges, becoming the foundation of the most meaningful relationships. In Ozzy's final days, the Osbourne family came together with a deep sense of love and unity. Kelly, Jack, Amy, and Ozzy's older children, Jessica and Louie, made frequent visits, understanding the gravity of the moments they shared. These were not just ordinary family visits. They were sacred moments, filled with emotional depth and quiet reverence, as each member of the family cherished the precious time left together. For Ozzy, this was a stark contrast to the chaotic family life that had been so publicly aired on the Osbournes. The cameras and spotlight had long faded, and in their place, a more intimate and private atmosphere enveloped the family. It was a time for reflection, for sharing memories, and for reaffirming the bond that had always existed beneath the public persona. Despite the inevitable sadness, these final days were also a celebration of life and love. The Osbournes shared moments of unconditional love and deep respect for Ozzy, reflected not only his legacy, but the unwavering support and connection he had with his family. Ozzy, who had once exposed the wildness of his family dynamic to the world, was now experiencing a quieter, more private chapter, surrounded by those who knew him best and loved him most. These were the moments that defined the true meaning of family, a profound connection that goes beyond the public eye, rooted in love, devotion, and understanding. Outwardly, only a few were aware of the true struggles unfolding behind closed doors. To the public, Ozzy appeared as a man whose health had significantly deteriorated, facing challenges in his later years. Yet, what remained unseen were the private moments, quiet preparations, heartfelt conversations, and the immense emotional weight Sharon carried as she navigated the difficult journey toward the inevitable turning point in Ozzy's life. This wasn't a story driven by fame, fortune, or sensational headlines. It wasn't the narrative the media or public expected. At its core, it was a story of deep love, unwavering sacrifice, and the emotional preparation for the eventual farewell of the man she cherished. The way Ozzy exited this world remained true to the essence of who he always was: resilient, strong, and unapologetically himself. Sharon, perhaps more than anyone, truly understood this, as she stood by his side through every challenging moment. Ozzy never wanted to be seen as the man defined by Parkinson's, nor did he want his legacy to be one of frailty, wheelchair-bound, weakened by illness. Instead, for his final act, he wished to live on as the Prince of Darkness, a symbol of enduring strength, an untouchable spirit. This was no mere wish. It was Ozzy's desire to leave behind a lasting image for his fans and loved ones, one that celebrated his unbreakable will, not his decline. While Sharon kept the details of Ozzy's final wish private, there was no doubt in her mind that she would do whatever it took to make it come true. She vowed to ensure that Ozzy's passing would be marked by the dignity he had earned, not as a frail man, but as the icon he was, standing tall, free, and powerful until the very end. This commitment not only reflected the immense love Sharon had for Ozzy, but also highlighted a profound truth. Sometimes, the greatest act of respect for a loved one is not just in caring for their physical needs, but in honoring the legacy and dignity they've spent their lives building. In a deeply emotional revelation, Ozzy Osbourne's final wish wasn't to fade quietly from the spotlight, but rather to return to the place where it all began, Birmingham, for one last performance. It was a wish that spoke not only of his love for music, but also of his desire to reconnect with his roots, the city that shaped him into the icon he became. Sharon, his devoted wife, shared that Ozzy's greatest longing in his final weeks was to step onto the stage in his hometown one last time. This wasn't just about celebrating his legendary career. It was his way of saying goodbye to his closest friends, his loyal fans, and everyone who had supported him throughout his extraordinary life. Surrounded by his bandmates and the fans who had supported him throughout his journey, Ozzy longed to feel their warmth and love in his final moment. This wasn't just a concert. It was a celebration of all that Ozzy had given to music and the rock community. Sharon knew fulfilling this wish wouldn't be easy, but she also understood that this was how Ozzy wanted to close the final chapter of his life, an ending that was meaningful, complete, and true to the essence of who he was. On July 5, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne's final wish came to life. Sharon orchestrated a historic concert titled Back to the Beginning at Villa Park, transforming the home stadium of Aston Villa Football Club into a sacred space for heavy metal. This wasn't just an event to honor Ozzy's legendary career. It was a deeply personal moment, bringing together Ozzy and his Black Sabbath bandmates, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, for the first time in 20 years. It wasn't simply a reunion after 2 decades apart. It was an emotional farewell, a final song from the men who had defined rock history. The event on July 5th at Villa Park, now celebrated as Ozzy's final performance, sparked waves of admiration across the music world. 40,000 fans filled Villa Park, with millions more tuning in through live streams. It was a concert of unparalleled significance, a once-in-a-lifetime experience that left fans and critics alike in awe. With every note and every lyric, Ozzy and his bandmates brought to life a monumental chapter of rock history, cementing their place in music's legacy and leaving an indelible mark on the world. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Slayer, and Anthrax all took the stage as supporting acts, paying tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, the man who helped shape the heavy metal genre. These iconic bands weren't just industry peers. They were musicians who had been profoundly influenced by Ozzy's extraordinary career. Together, they created an emotionally charged atmosphere, with each note and melody serving as a testament to the immense impact Ozzy had on their lives and music. "The only place we could do this is Aston, because that's where Ozzy was born and raised," Sharon said. Her words weren't just an introduction to the venue. They were a powerful affirmation of Ozzy's unbreakable bond with his hometown and the place that had shaped him into the legend he became. Sharon also revealed that, from the very moment she began planning the concert, she envisioned inviting all the bands Ozzy had ever worked with to perform, creating a tribute to the iconic songs of Black Sabbath and Ozzy's solo work. It became a music festival, Sharon shared, underscoring the significance of the event, not just for Ozzy but for the entire metal community. This wasn't merely a concert. It was a celebration of music history, a vibrant festival where artists united to honor and celebrate the enduring legacy of a true legend. When Ozzy appeared, seated on a black throne at the heart of the stage, the roar from the crowd was deafening. For many, that image was a striking and unforgettable moment. A man whose body had been worn down by illness, yet whose presence remained larger than life, a true, unbeatable icon. He sat there like the king of rock, a living legend, radiating a resilience and indomitable spirit that no one could deny. In that moment, the crowd saw not just an artist, but a myth coming to life. As he spoke, opening the show with the choked words, "Mom, I'm home," his voice trembled with emotion. Little did anyone know this would be the last time Ozzy would return to the place where it all began. After that poignant moment, Ozzy found his familiar strength and launched into the opening vocals of Crazy Train. In that instant, music was more than just life to him. It was his very breath. "You have no idea how I feel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart," he told the crowd, his voice filled with raw emotion and deep gratitude. His words were met with a thunderous applause from the 40,000 fans at Villa Park. This wasn't just a concert. It was a festival of love, respect, and admiration for a legend. Ozzy proved that, while his body may have been frail, his spirit and influence would live on forever in the hearts of all who loved him. Black Sabbath's setlist for the concert was a tribute to their iconic early classics. the tracks that had become enduring symbols of their legacy: War Pigs, Iron Man, Paranoid. These weren't just songs. They were inseparable pieces of rock's musical heritage. Though their performance was brief, it held a deep sense of finality, each melody carrying the weight of the band's long and storied journey. As fireworks lit up the night sky, casting a mystical and almost surreal glow, the band took their final bow, offering an emotional farewell to a career that had spanned over half a century. This wasn't just a concert. It was a celebration of memories, a heartfelt tribute to music, and a lasting testament to the love and devotion that defined their legendary careers. Though the concert was organized as a charity fundraiser, raising an incredible $189 million, its true purpose went far beyond that. For Ozzy, this wasn't merely a celebration of his illustrious career. It was a deeply personal moment to express his heartfelt gratitude to those who had walked beside him throughout his long journey. Despite the overwhelming adoration and admiration from both the audience and the music community, this event was Ozzy's own personal journey, a final chance to say goodbye, to embrace the closing moments of his extraordinary career, and to honor the life he had lived. This was Ozzy's farewell, the final wish he had carried in his heart throughout his last years. He had known for some time that his life was nearing its end, but instead of succumbing to fear or despair, it only strengthened his resolve to fulfill his greatest dream, to leave this world on his own terms. Not quietly, not hidden in the shadows of illness or frailty, but in a grand performance, singing and playing music on stage, before the fans who had shared in his most glorious moments. This was the request he made to Sharon, his unwavering life partner who had stood by him through every triumph and trial. His one true wish was simple: to have one final performance, one last bow on the stage, the place where it all began, where music had molded his life. Sharon brought Ozzy back home, surrounded by the people and the music that had defined his life. In that poignant moment, she tearfully shared, "He wanted me to remind him of his true self." This wasn't just a reflection of Sharon's deep love for Ozzy. It was a promise she had faithfully kept, helping him end his life with the honor and dignity he deserved. Ozzy, who had dedicated his entire life to sharing music and emotion with the world, had now returned to his roots, the place where it all began. In every sense, it was a perfect farewell, closing the chapter on a remarkable era of rock music and the final act of a living legend's life. On July 22, 2025, just 17 days after his final performance, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76. His family, in a heartfelt statement, shared the news of his passing. This loss was felt deeply, not only by Ozzy's family, but by the entire music world, as a legend left us, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of all who had loved him. Yet, Ozzy's legacy will endure forever, in the timeless music he created, in the unforgettable melodies that continue to echo through generations, and in the memories he left behind for all who witnessed the remarkable journey of his life and career. With immeasurable sadness, our family is deeply heartbroken to announce that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne passed away this morning. He has returned to his family, surrounded by an outpouring of love. Ozzy's passing has left a void that cannot be filled, but he left us peacefully, surrounded by those who loved him most. Tributes have poured in from all corners of the world, expressing the respect and admiration people have for him. From his loyal fans to his peers in the music industry, everyone shares in this profound sense of loss, honoring the legacy of a true legend. Ronnie Wood, a member of the Rolling Stones, hailed Ozzy as the undefeated king of heavy metal, a well-deserved tribute for someone who completely reshaped the genre. Sir Elton John, a close friend of Ozzy, was visibly moved as he described him as a true legend and a friend he would always hold dear. These heartfelt words speak volumes about the deep respect and admiration Ozzy earned from the biggest names in the music world. He wasn't just a legend. He was also a loyal and sincere friend, treasured by those who knew him best. Tony Iommi, his bandmate in Black Sabbath and close friend, mourned the loss of Ozzy with profound sadness, sharing, "I can't believe it." "My dear friend Ozzy passed away just weeks after our show at Villa Park," Tony Iommi wrote. "This is heartbreaking, and I can't express it in words. No one will ever be like him. Geezer, Bill, and I have lost our brother." Ozzy's passing transformed the meaning of the Villa Park concert, an event that had initially been seen as a grand celebration of rock music's biggest names. In the wake of his death, that concert became much more than a milestone in his career. It became a profound farewell, a final tribute from the friends and bandmates who had stood by him through the years and helped shape the golden era of music history. It wasn't just a fundraising concert or a reunion. It was the final chapter of an extraordinary life. That concert became a legendary moment, where Ozzy Osbourne didn't just say goodbye to his fans, but to the city and the legacy he had built over more than 50 years. Ozzy's final wish had come true, a complete and heartfelt farewell that allowed him to leave on his own terms, deeply personal and profoundly emotional. Sharon, his lifelong partner who had stood by him through every high and low, made sure that Ozzy's wish was fully realized, enabling him to depart with the honor, dignity, and love he had always deserved. Ozzy Osbourne leaves behind Sharon, his devoted wife, and their children, Kelly, Jack, and Amy, along with Jessica and Louis from his first marriage. He also leaves behind several grandchildren who will carry on his legacy. Though Ozzy has passed, his family and those who loved him will continue to uphold the monumental music legacy he created. Ozzy dedicated his entire life to music, and future generations will forever remember him as an irreplaceable legend in the history of rock and heavy metal. Ozzy's music, his influence, and his final farewell performance in Birmingham will forever be etched in music history. It was a remarkable moment, a triumphant final show where Ozzy said goodbye in a way only he could. Do you think this was the perfect way for the Australian singer to close the legendary chapter of his life? If Ozzy Osbourne's story inspires you and touches your heart, don't forget to leave a comment with a 1 or a 0 if you feel differently. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss more fascinating stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.